Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon. Well, it's afternoon for those in Eastern Standard Time. My name is Margarita Hughes. I'm a National Child Welfare Advisor with Raise the Future. And today I'm here representing AdoptUSKids. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to join our National Project Director, Melinda Klein, and our Director of the National Center for Diligent Recruitment, Ms. Deborah Burris, Germany, and present to you all Empowering Professionals, Leveraging AdoptUSKids Services for Impact. Next slide, please. Just a few housekeeping rules for you all. So this webinar will be recorded and shared with you. You can feel free to submit your questions via chat. We will be monitoring the chat so we can catch those questions. If they happen to come up during the next presenter, we will be sure to have some time at the end so that we can save those and get those answered for you. And then you will be receiving a survey at the end of our webinar. We just encourage you to take that survey so we can get that feedback and continue to work to improve our services. Next slide, please. Just going to briefly go over the agenda with you all. We're going to start off with some introductions where I'll be joined by Melinda, and she'll be introducing some of her team that will be presenting with us today. We'll go ahead and do a review of the Professional Hub, followed by the AdoptUSKids photolisting program. We'll also get a look at the AdoptUSKids Professional Leadership Development Program, followed by the Speakers Bureau and National Campaign, and following in strong with the National Center for Diligent Recruitment. So at this time, I'd like to invite Melinda Klein.
Hello, and thank you very much, Margarita. I really appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. It's so nice for you all to join us here. I hope it's warm wherever you are. I'm here in Kansas, and it is cold, but not as cold as it's been the last few days. So it's looking up. I hope you're safe. I hope you're warm. Thank you so much for joining us today. We actually know that you all have so many competing priorities, and we are honored that you've chosen to share a little bit of your time and your energy with us. So we're happy that you're here. And we do intend to make it worth your while for being here today. So I know that it's been said, if you want to go fast, you go alone. And if you want to go far, you go together. So we've come together today. My colleagues and I, each of them are uniquely qualified to tell you about their part of this project. And they're very passionate about it. They're very passionate about helping you all serve the children and families in your jurisdiction. So we're here together to share our work and the opportunities that it offers for you. So next slide, please. Adopt US Kids is the national project, and as Margarita said, I'm the national project director. It is operated through a cooperative agreement with the Children's Bureau. So, like all of you, we are very dedicated to helping children and youth in foster care find safe, loving, and permanent families. We educate those prospective families about foster care and adoption, and Nicole is going to tell you a little bit more about that later. And the support that the child welfare professionals have with tools and resources to enhance their services are here to help you all. We also operate the only federally funded photo listing service that connects waiting children with their adoptive families. And so here's on the screen, you'll see our twofold mission statement. It focuses first on raising public awareness. And you'll get to meet Melissa, and she's going to talk about that. We know there's an urgent need for more foster and adoptive families. You're hearing it in the news. Alex Adams, a Home for Every Family, and we're here to support your move towards that as well. And we know that you all know that. The need for families better than anyone. So we're here to support states, tribes, and territories in recruiting, engaging, and retaining those families. And while we work hard to serve families through the adoption process, we also want to shed some light on various supports that are offered to professionals, and I'll talk quite a bit about those. So next slide, please. Okay, so I'm excited to introduce or maybe reintroduce to you the Adopt US Kids Professional Hub. It's a powerful, free, yes, I said free, resource for all of you. It's really designed specifically for child welfare professionals at adoptuskids.org. You can find the professional hub, and I'm going to spend quite a bit of time, um, you know, going over kind of the tools that you'll see there and what you need to support kids and families. I think I might have, though, breezed past my wanting to introduce my team. So I do want to go back and do that real quick, but you don't have to move the slide. We're fine. So if I can invite my team that's going to be presenting today to come on to video so that everyone can see your beautiful faces. Um, Nicole Robinson is our National Recruitment Response Manager for Adopt US Kids. She leads the team who responds to professionals as well as families, and so she'll be talking with you about that. And then Melissa Otero, she is our National Campaign Director for Adopt US Kids, and she will be sharing. Actually, you get to like it's like attending a movie premiere today because she'll get to share some new cuts with you all. Tony Ligon, invite you to come on camera for a minute. Tony is our director for Adopt US Kids, our professional leadership development director, and she's going to talk with you about the work that she does with leaders and emerging leaders, transformational leaders across our nation. And then I'm going to say we're going to end with my bookend at Adopt US Kids, but she's the director for the National Center for Diligent Recruitment, and she was already mentioned earlier. My colleague Deborah Burris Germany. So thank you for that. Sorry, I skipped the introductions. I got so excited about the professional hub. So now I'm going to go back to the professionals hub. So next slide, please. Okay, so speaking of Tony and the APLD, as you'll see, this is like a screenshot of adoptuskids.org, but this is at the professional hub. So you will find hundreds of publications there, guides, tip sheets, articles, a great webinar, or a great podcast that's there, webinar recordings like this one will end up there as well. All about like anything from recruiting families to supporting them through challenges that come, kind of right time training, right? For trauma and loss. Any of those things, there's a great search bar. You can look for things. The best part is we're always adding new materials. It stays fresh, it stays relevant. Next slide. Thank you. So really quickly to highlight a little more, just some of the tools that you might find helpful. Photo listing tools that provide professionals with access to national photo list, our national photo listing system. Um, Many of you will know that you can register children there. You can search for approved families here. Caseworkers can manage some of their workload. They can respond to inquiries. They can collaborate with their colleagues through the dashboard. Beyond publications that I've talked about, the tip sheets and all of that. This is where you would go if you want to connect with APLD. If you want to refer someone, Tony's going to talk a little more about that, but this is where the application process starts for that program. You can also browse our blog post. You can refer families to the family side of things. Um, the blog posts that we have are all written by professional child welfare leaders. They cover real issues that come up for you all, and they offer practical ideas that you can take back to your team. Next slide, please. Obviously, I'm really pumped about all of this. So, because I do like to be pragmatic, I do want to say that, um, let you know that there's three more things I want to share about this professionals hub. First, the hub is like a library, very quick and practical guides for you all. Like I said, there's over 100 publications there. The materials are really easy to digest. We know, like I said earlier, how busy you all are, how crisis-driven the work can be, and these materials are just quick and easy to digest. You could print them out, um, take them with you and read them when you have the chance. And they're designed specifically for you. It's a great way for you all to stay in touch with like up to date current trends and conversations in child welfare. The blog features posts that are written by experienced leaders. You can browse through, keep your skills sharp. And also, like I said earlier about there's a helpful podcast that we're really proud of. It stars families from our AdoptUSKids Speakers Bureau, and they're really sharing their wisdom in their own words. And I think that you'll find that super helpful. Lastly, I just want to encourage you to sign up for the newsletter so you can stay on top of things and use the professional hub as it's meant to be used. My team here today will be sharing some information about upcoming webinars, like even from our other centers. They'll be sharing those in the chat. And we want to help you in any way we can to work with families and children out in your jurisdictions. So next slide. I get to hand it over to Nicole. Again, Nicole is our National Recruitment Response Manager, and she's here to share information about the photo listing. And again, thank you for being here, and thanks for letting me share that information. Nicole, I'm handing it over to you.
Thank you, Melinda. Again, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to share more with you about the AdoptUSKids photo listing. Next slide, please. For over 20 years, the National Photo Listing through AdoptUSKids has been a federally funded initiative designed to help connect children in foster care who need permanent homes with families who are approved and ready to adopt. With over 4,000 registered children on the site, the photo listing allows agencies to manage cases, create multimedia profiles, and use matching tools to identify potential families quickly. Agencies can include videos where young people, in their own words, get to share their interests, likes, goals, and hopes for their future and family. Next slide, please. Okay. And if we look at some of the key features of our photo listing, the first feature would be privacy and best practices. When it comes to privacy and best practices, the listings, also known as narrative profiles, are meant to emphasize the strengths and interests of the child while maintaining safety, confidentiality, and dignity. We have a public narrative, which is viewable to anyone who visits AdoptUSKids, and typically the listings would be strengths-based. It would be positive. It's an introduction to that youth and offering a glimpse into their personality. We all have a private narrative, which is only viewable to registered home studies families who are approved to be on our site. And that's where workers can share a bit more about the child's level of functioning and needs. And this is cognitive, emotional, physical, and again, it's only viewable to families who are registered on our site. We do offer written guidance on how to create strengths-based narratives, as well as including youth when appropriate in the process of creating their own narratives. Using the photo listing allows for national exposure. Children listed gain visibility beyond their local area, hopefully increasing chances of finding a permanent home. We also have matching tools. The system will cross-match children's needs with family characteristics to suggest potential and possible matches. Next slide, please. When we talk about photo listing, we're really talking about giving kids who often wait the longest a real chance to be seen. Studies of the AdoptUSKids photo listing found that even when states weren't using it to its full potential, a pretty remarkable number of children, about 40%, were still placed with families. That's huge for older youth, for siblings who need to stay together, and for children with disabilities, because these are the kids who can get overlooked in traditional recruitment. Photolisting opens the doors for families across the country to learn who they are, what they love, and what they need. And for children from diverse backgrounds, having national visibility means a better chance of finding families who can honor their identity and culture. In fact, more than 40,000 children listed on AdoptUSKids have gone on to join permanent families. It's a reminder that sometimes expanding a child's circle of visibility really can change the trajectory of their life. Next slide, please. Professionals use the AdoptUSKids photolisting site as a powerful tool to help find permanent families. Caseworkers create detailed profiles for the children on their caseloads, complete with photos, videos, and narratives, so those children can be seen by approved families across the country. They're also able to respond directly to inquiries from those families and use the system to search for parents who might be the right fit for that particular child. It's a true two-way matching tool. Professionals can learn about registered families, as each family will create profiles where they highlight their own family composition and support systems, and share about themselves. And families' caseworkers can search for children and share those results back with the families they support. In short, photolisting helps professionals widen the circle of possible matches, manage their cases more efficiently, and ultimately increase the chances that every child finds a safe, permanent home. Next slide, please. Next up, Director Tony Lagan will share information about the AdoptUSKids Professional Leadership Development Program.
Thank you, Nicole. Good day, everyone. My name again is Tony Lagan, and I am the director of the APLD program. The AdoptUSKids Professional Development Program, APLD or PLOD, is a prestigious 12-month fellowship with a call to action for emerging child welfare leaders eager to drive systemic industry improvements. The program offers several avenues for personal and professional growth, including hands-on leadership training, mentorship from national experts, data-centered coursework, and a structured path for exploring impactful solutions that tackle real challenges in child welfare. The APLD program is open to child welfare professionals and requires you to have worked in the child welfare field for 5 or more years and have earned an undergraduate degree. Next slide, please. The highly selective program opens with a 3-day kickoff in Washington, D.C., where cohort members connect with their peers and orient themselves for the impactful work ahead. Participants engage in online courses in policy and practice, receive group coaching, and design and implement action research projects that address real challenges in their workplace, all while being supported by mentors and an extensive alumni network. The program culminates in a celebratory graduation event where fellows present their findings and take their place among APLD's growing legacy of changemakers. However, the program's impact doesn't end there, as fellows do more than merely complete coursework. They become part of the APLD movement, joining a network of alumni who continue to evolve child welfare. Past participants have launched groundbreaking initiatives, authored new training curriculums, presented their research on national stages, reshaped agency practices, created innovative tools, earned promotions, and otherwise leveraged what they've learned into a platform for change. Next slide, please. This past fall, the APLD program welcomed its newest alumni as Cohort 7 graduated 19 fellows hailing from various states: Washington, Colorado, Missouri, Mississippi, and Connecticut, to name a few. These fellows shared their action research project findings at their graduation ceremony. Some project topics were facilitating visitation between children in DHS custody and incarcerated parents, identifying and maintaining birth-family connections, and elevating engagement and empowering change in child welfare. Cohort 8 is up and running with 19 fellows, and they most recently had their PICOs, or Statements of Research, approved. And as of January 9th, applications for Cohort 9 are available on the AdoptUSKids website. Application close date is April 3rd, 2026, midnight Pacific Standard Time. If you have any questions about the program, please feel free to email me at apld@adoptuskids.org. And thank you for your time. And now we will move on to Melissa Otero.
Thanks, Tony. Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Otero, the National Campaign Director with AdoptUSKids, and I am delighted to share some information with all of you on our National Speakers Bureau and our National Public Awareness Campaign. So you can see from this slide, I think a really short description of both of those subjects are amplifying lived experience and expertise and inspiring potential parents, both of which fall within the part of the mission that Melinda mentioned at the beginning, is to raise public awareness. And we use both of these to assist with that mission. So if we could go to the next slide. These are some of our young adult speakers. That is not a stock photo. Those are some of our actual young adult speakers who are all fabulous. And again, short description here, we use real stories to inspire. A key difference, I think, is using positive, accurate stories about adoption and foster care. I'm sure all of you know that sometimes media or otherwise can promote some negative stories, misinformation, or some myths. And so we really try to use both our parent and young adult voices to provide more of those positive and accurate, honest stories. And then finally, we use both for recruitment and awareness to support our states, tribes, and territories. So my background is in journalism, specifically around PR and communications. And I think the reason that that is important to this part of the discussion is that I am a huge fan of word of mouth advertising. I think in some of the work that I've done, I've really seen how that can make a real difference, both word of mouth and sometimes grassroots efforts. And so we began the Speakers Bureau project with that in mind, that, and again, all of you probably are very aware of this, that the best promoters for foster parents and recruiting foster parents and adoptive parents is those with that actual experience. And so I wanted to take that and how can we make that bigger and how can we utilize that to help our state, territory, and tribe partners. And so we have a speakers bureau with a group of about 100 spokespeople, and it's a mix of parents, foster and adoptive parents, young adults, as well as professionals. And we utilize their voices in many different ways. You'll see from our website, where Melinda highlighted on the Professionals Hub, as well as our website, that we have videos, we have stories, we use them for conferences, for blogs, a podcast. We try to utilize their voices as much as we can to really help get that information back out to raise awareness. It's a diverse group of individuals from all across the US. And again, it really allows us to promote those positive stories, honest, taking a look at an honest depiction of what the process is like. And we then utilize those voices in the media as well as a variety of different ways. And I think one of the great things about our Speakers Bureau is that probably about 95% maybe a little more, are all speakers that have come to us through recommendations from some of our state partners, our state partners, the private agency partners that work with the states, and they have all been amazing recommendations. It's a very dedicated group of people that work to help raise awareness for the need for more foster and adoptive parents. And so we are always looking for recommendations for speakers. So if you have anyone in mind, you can definitely send them our way. We do provide free media training as well as ongoing support to our speakers. It's not something where we're just pulling people to, we need somebody to do an event for us, and then it's one and done. We really have a program around the Speakers Bureau, and we work with them to really craft their stories and their messaging, and then utilize that again with that goal to raise awareness. If we could go to the next slide. Now I want to talk a little bit about our national campaign. As Melinda said, we get a little bit of show and tell here with some of our new video and PSAs. And so our national campaign is a long-running public awareness initiative. We recently celebrated last year our 20th year of the campaign. So it first launched in 2004. And again, that's a partnership with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Children's Bureau, the Ad Council, as well as the team here at AdoptUSKids. And what we do is we utilize public service ads. It's multimedia, again, to raise awareness for the need for more foster and adoptive parents. So part of the campaign, we do have utilized a lot of our speakers from the Speakers Bureau. So the next PSAs that you're going to see are real parents and adoptive teens that were adopted by their parents. As far as some results from the campaign, it's contributed to more than 1 million children and youth who've been adopted from foster care since the campaign began. And our tracking study that we partner with on the Ad Council with has indicated that families who have seen the ads are 3.5 times more likely to consider adoption from foster care. So we want to share with you 2 of the PSAs that we recently launched. And again, these showcase parents who have adopted teens from foster care as well as the teens that they adopted. And again, you'll hear and see that they're relatable. They really help viewers to see themselves as potential adoptive parents, really highlights that process, the journey. It's real moments. And we are going to have later on this quarter, we'll have a discussion guide that can be used as a tool along with the videos that you're about to see. So the first one is a group of parents and youth who participated in production. And then the second one you'll see just highlights one family, and that is with Taylor McClellan and her boys. And specifically their story highlights kinship and the importance of culture, identity, and traditions. So let's take a look at our new PSAs.
I see a beautiful soul, a hardworking mom, and someone that loves her kids.
She's everything I want to be. She's an amazing mom, an amazing worker, an amazing wife, and I see the person that I want to be in life.
It's so refreshing and exciting to have you as a father.
You are your mother and I's whole world.
I don't have no doubt in my mind about the next version of yourself that you're going to be.
I just love you, Sarah.
I love you too.
I just see 2 young men who are very smart and talented. They're still growing and still developing, but there is so much inside of them that I feel like they are still yet to tap into and grow into that. You guys have come so far, and I am very proud of you. And when you guys are old and gray, I want you guys to have the same compassion, the same heart.
She cares a lot about her family. She just loves to help people. Strong woman, a lot of love. Woman who has a strong heart and strong mind too.
You. And so one quick note, again, these are PSAs that are out in the media world, so on TV. If anyone watches football, the NFL network seems to adore our PSAs and give us a lot of donated media support. One quick note about the campaign, and some of you may have participated with this in the past, but the PSAs are available for localization, meaning that you can tag the end of these where you see the AdoptUSKids information right now. You can utilize your local information, so state agency name, private partner agency name, phone number, website, and your logo so that you can utilize that in your home jurisdictions. So now I would like to turn it over to Deborah Burris, Germany, to go over the next section of our presentation. Deborah?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And of course, I have the hard act to follow. Uh, that's some pretty good stuff. Those campaigns are very heart-wrenching and really tug at your heart. So I encourage you guys to try to make sure you're utilizing them within your jurisdictions. But if you think you had fun or you enjoyed watching those, you need to invite the National Center for Diligent Recruitment to your jurisdiction to support you with some technical assistance in the development, implementation, revision of diligent recruitment plans. So, our primary focus and purpose within the National Center for Diligent Recruitment is to work with states, tribes, and territories on those very things, the development, revision, and implementation of diligent recruitment plans. We also aim to work with jurisdictions on making sure they have data-driven strategies within those plans. When we come into a jurisdiction, we call it intensive technical assistance, and we're intentional about calling it intensive technical assistance because our goal is to work side by side with jurisdictions on the development and implementation of their strategies for diligent recruitment to improve their recruitment efforts as well as their programs. At the end of the day, we work hard with jurisdictions to understand it's not just about developing a plan, but it's about actually developing a plan that's a living document that's going to support your efforts in improving outcomes for families and children. So we want you to think about diligent recruitment as more than just recruitment activities, but it's a way of us improving outcomes for the families and children we serve. When you think about many different aspects of a child and family services plan, you think about safety, you think about permanency, you think about well-being. All of those things connect directly with the work that the National Center for Diligent Recruitment supports states, tribes, and territories with. Because if you've got a nice pool of families who are capable of meeting the needs of youth in care, then that means we're going to have improved outcomes. So we really want you to think differently about the services that can be provided through your diligent recruitment plans and how those plans can be used for the purpose of improving outcomes for families and children. We offer both intensive technical assistance as well as our universal services. Our universal services is inclusive of disseminating information for our website. Webinars are housed on the website. We have articles, as Melinda alluded to earlier today about, we know that you all are very busy. And so we try to make sure our content is not so heavy that you don't have the opportunity to take a few minutes and review some of the tools that are developed to support your diligent recruitment efforts. got a next slide here with free technical assistance. We should probably lead with that, right? That the assistance that you can receive from the National Center for Diligent Recruitment is free. And so we've come into jurisdictions, we've worked with them on gathering data, building dashboards. We have a new system called ESRI that we work with jurisdictions on for targeted recruitment, for market segmentation. So we will walk side by side with you in that journey. We have the Knowledge Hub again for the purpose of housing information that can be helpful in your diligent recruitment efforts. And again, with webinars and peer learning, our peer learners, we really want you all to participate in that because it's an opportunity for you to hear from other jurisdictions, other states, other tribes around successes that we're having in our jurisdictions and sharing information, talking about the challenges that you're facing, but an opportunity to hear from one another and learn from one another ways for being able to address the various opportunities that you face within your jurisdictions. And again, data-driven planning. We can't talk enough about data. Even now with the new initiative coming out of the Children's Bureau from the White House with a home for every child. In order for us to get there, to achieve those outcomes, we have to know where we are. So data is so very important in helping us to determine which direction we're going to go, helping us to understand what our needs are. You have to know what your needs are in order to know what strategies are needed to be able to improve your diligent recruitment programs. So again, we just want to say that we're here as a National Center for Diligent Recruitment to support states, tribes, and territories with the development, implementation, and revision. And I keep saying revision because the plans were actually due a couple of years ago. And so now we're at a point with diligent recruitment plans that we're working with jurisdictions on revising those plans to make sure that they are data driven to be able to meet the needs of the jurisdiction in improving outcomes for families and children. So I think I went through mine fairly quickly because I have so much to say. I didn't want to say too much. I think we're going to open the floor now to see if there are any questions regarding any of the information that's been shared with you all today. So any questions? We've had lots of great information shared from the various team members around the programs offered through AdoptUSKids and the National Center for Diligent Recruitment. So if there are any questions regarding any of the information shared, please don't hesitate to let us know. I think we saw several in the chat that we'll be trying to address if time permits. So
And
we
I
want to
do think
take
we
us
have a
through.
little time, Deborah. So I
Okay.
think we'll invite all the presenters back on camera. And then if one of our Universal folks can help us with the questions. Oh, I actually could maybe read the questions. What do we got here? How about that? Thank you all too. Thanks for staying engaged with us while we went through that, the questions and the comments. I'm looking forward to going back and kind of reviewing them too. I see you brought up a lot of things that have been on our conversations as of late. But I just appreciate the questions and the response. So, Melissa, there's a question for you. It says, regarding the national campaign ads, how is that data known? And I think they're specifically talking about that parents see the ads and they are 3.5 times more likely to consider foster and adoption. So I think you can address that.
Yeah, so we partner with our friends at the Ad Council and have participated in a long-standing tracking survey that they administer with an outside independent agency for us. And they have tracked that over time. And so what they're doing is they're surveying people that have said that they have seen the ad in some capacity, and then they follow up and ask them about their interest or propensity to adopt. And so again, they've just tracked those responses over time, and then have provided that data back to us on the 3.5 times more likely. So it's based on both phone and web interviews.
And Maddie has nicely put all of the campaign questions together, Melissa, so do not run away. The next question is also for you. How can we access the Speakers Bureau in our state trainings? Can we request speakers from this group for training/conference? And if so, what is the process? Oh, I love that question.
Yes, that is wonderful. So there's a couple of answers. I think Deborah's group can help as far as like technical assistance if you wanted the actual like media training for anyone in your state that is interested. If it's something that you wanted to make into a larger program. Otherwise, we again are happy to take any recommendations that you have for speakers, and we will train them through our media training. And you can access our speakers. So you can get in touch with us. There'll be contact information at the end of this presentation, and you can reach out that way and let us know what state, what city and state that you're in, and we can see if there are specific speakers, like if you're in the state of Tennessee. We have a few speakers that are in different parts of Tennessee, and we can see which one might align. And if it's for a conference, it's the same process, where the conference is, we might be able to align a speaker that is already in that location, or we can work with our speakers to send them out to a conference to participate. We have a very eager group, like I said, of speakers that are always looking for more opportunities. They're texting us, they're emailing us saying, "Do you have anything going on?" They're very active and they're very passionate in sharing their stories and their opinions. And so definitely, if you are in need of speakers, you can reach out to us and we will connect you as best we can. We're trying to get speakers in all 50 states. I think I can't remember, Melinda, how many we're short. It's just a handful. There's always a few sticklers that don't have any speakers yet, but we're trying to get a speaker in every state. Oh, Melinda,
What are
you're
the,
go ahead.
oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, so before we move on from you, there's one more question. It says, what are the copyright or ability for states/agencies to use media from the PSAs in state foster care recruitment? Oh, such a great question. And where can they
Absolutely.
access the PSAs?
So all of our PSAs, a couple of different ways. You can go to the Adopt US Kids YouTube channel, and you can go to the videos tab, and all of our current PSAs are there that you can utilize via a link. The Ad Council on their site, they also have a section on their website where you can actually download the files, and not just a link, to access all of our current PSAs. And the only stipulation with the PSAs is that we do run them in donated media time. So we cannot purchase media time for them. But otherwise, we really encourage states, private agencies that partner with states to utilize the PSAs. And again, through the localization, if you wanted to direct people to your agency, again, you can contact us and we can put your logo, phone number, and website on that end frame. So instead of coming through Adopt US Kids back to you all, it can go directly to all of you. But they are a free resource for all of you to utilize in your jurisdictions.
Thanks, Melissa. Making sure that I see, I'm not sure I'm seeing all of the questions, Maddie. So I see Nicole, though. I see Nicole, so I can go to photo listings. Nicole, can you talk about one of the questions says, who is currently sending the updated photos of children from across the US? So if you could talk about the state's ownership of the photos and the information, that would be helpful.
Yes, thank you. Couldn't get off mute. The states have ownership of youth photos and photo listing. So the workers would send and upload whatever photos they would like for those youth. All we do is we might make recommendations that, photos do not include logos that may accidentally reveal a location of a child, whether it's like a high school or, and sometimes if we feel like maybe it might be a little too provocative or whatnot. But typically the state decides what photos they're going to post for their children. And I know this is a question later on. We know that some states are no longer allowing photos of their youth, and our system does allow for a silhouette. So it would just be a black and white silhouette. And so you can still list that child on the photo listing, but their photo would not be viewable to any of the registered families. And what states will do is they might share that once they have a match with a family, then they would provide that photo to the prospective family. But you can still have a photo listing if you don't include the photo.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And what about, like, I think this is a really fun question too. Someone had asked, are potential adoptive parents creating profiles for the kids to review? And so you might want to share with folks, but I do think that insinuates a really great idea. If you want to share how that's done currently and who reviews the family profiles, but I like the idea.
Sure. So families would register when they register on their site, on our site. Their information is sent to who they listed as their worker. And we ask them whether they have a current home study, whether they are approved in their state according to their state rules to pursue adoption from foster care, and if they are currently looking for a placement. And if that worker agrees and says yes to all those questions, then the family can use the website. And at that point, families then create their profile. They can upload a photo. They would give more information about themselves, their interests, their family composition, their structure, activities, social activities, connections, how many youth are in their home, any kind of to offer more insight into who they are as people and what type of family they are. And we have a team of foster care and adoption resource specialists that we work with the newly registered families. So we do look at their profiles and we may offer some tips if we're encouraging them to maybe share a little more information or really telling them and guiding them on how to use this website and to make inquiries.
Fantastic. And one more question for you, Nicole. And what I also want to say is that we've gotten all the questions. And so we're going to compile them all and put them together for everybody. So we'll just attend to the ones that we have enough time for today. But there's some that are going to require some extra thought. But one last question for you here, Nicole, is how can you talk a little bit more about how families get approved for our site and the difference between a registered family and an approved family? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So once families go to our registration link on our site, they would be asked to provide information on the worker, licensing worker, and that an automatic email is sent to that individual, and they would have to answer questions related to whether the family has a current home study, because you do have to have a current home study in order to be on our site, and that current home study has to allow them to pursue adoption from foster care, because we know there are different types of home studies. And then the family also has to be ready and willing to accept a placement, because we know there are different circumstances that can be involved with the family. So we're really relying on the worker to say that the family is approved and can use the photo listing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. Deborah, got to make sure you're still on there. Deborah, there's a question I think that you are uniquely qualified to answer, and it's just asking for us to talk more or say more about a Home for Every Child initiative and how AdoptUSKids and the NCDR can help with that, and like what pieces of the recruitment, like tell us all about that.
Oh, wow, Melinda, that's a loaded question, but
It is a big one.
let me take a stab at it. So, let's start with the Home for Every Child initiative that's coming out of the White House and the Children's Bureau. Some of you may be familiar with and this is how it started with one major goal for the administration, and that's a 1-to-1 ratio, one home for every child that's in the foster care system. But they've done a lot of math with this administration. So another way that they've looked at this is the numerator and denominator. We all social workers, I know, but it'll come to us over time. And so with the numerator, it's the number of foster homes, right? And your denominator is the number of kids who are actually in the foster care system. So what this current administration has asked of states, tribes, territories to do is to increase the numerator and decrease the denominator. And so there are various ways, of course, of increasing that numerator. How do you increase your pool of foster homes and foster families and kinship, so an increase there. And again, like I said, a decrease in the number of kids in care. Another thing that the administration is asking for states, depending on where they are in their CFSR review in the PIP. And so, Melinda, you all, I think if we could share the TB 14, the Technical Bulletin 14, with those on the call who may not be familiar, that would provide a little more information into the initiative. But what the TB is saying is if you're coming out of your CFSR, you're in a PIP or you're going to get a PIP or whatever, wherever you are based on a PIP, because we all know that the CFSR usually yields to a program improvement plan. So states are going to have the option of opting into a pilot for completing their PIP. So instead of having to address a whole lot of other things that you generally do in a PIP, you can come every month. I think they're asking states to report out on certain data points monthly, and that's like the number of homes, the number of kids in care, what are you doing? So they're going to be asking states to report out monthly on those data points, which most states sometimes have. In our work with jurisdictions, we do find that it's difficult to gather because your CPA, your child placement agencies, may have some of the data, and those systems may not talk to your state system. In county administered states, the counties may have that information and it may not feed to the state's data system. So being able to figure out a way for systems to talk to one another, to be able to gather that information, to be able to report monthly to the Children's Bureau on the number of homes that are actually number of foster homes and the number of children in care. So what are you doing to move the numerator and the denominator? Hopefully I haven't talked too much about math, and maybe that provides some more information. And what we can do, or what we've done, or what we've said basically is we can work primarily with jurisdictions on that numerator. How do you increase your number of families? So with the national campaigns that Adopt US Kids have always had over the last 20 years, how can those ads be utilized to support recruitment? How can we, again, the Speakers Bureau, how can we utilize all of the things, tools and information that we currently have to support the increase in that numerator, increase the number of families? And, we can also help with that denominator, because if we're still out here approving adoptive families, then that means we've got a pool of adoptive families that can support us in achieving permanency, right? Because we still have children needing adoptive homes. And so what are we doing, to help children get out of the child welfare system, and achieve permanency through guardianship or adoption? So those are the things that we're going to be working with jurisdictions moving forward. How do we increase that numerator and work with you to decrease the denominator?
Thank you, Deborah. I
You're
think that was
welcome.
really helpful. I tell you, my team is all like, there's lots more questions. So they're like telling me. And so we will make sure, like I said, we'll make sure that we get all the answers or the questions all typed up and respond to you, because I know you're wanting the information. That's definitely what we want, and we sure appreciate you. I do see, Tony, if you're still here, there's a question for you to share more about where they might learn more about APLD how they might get involved. And I know you have a couple of webinars coming up. So if you want to say a little bit more about that, and then we'll just wrap up with some more resources. But thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melinda. Yes, as I mentioned previously, that we are currently in our recruitment mode for cohort 9. And if you go to the Professionals Hub, look for the APLD or Adopt US Kids Professional Leadership Development tab, you will see links on how to apply. But there are also links for upcoming webinars that are slated for Monday, February 9th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then March 9th, a Monday also, same time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to drop the links in the chat so that you can register. We do ask that you register, so we do want to know who's on the call. And you'll have all of your extensive questions answered. We'll give you a complete overview of the program itself. What is the ARP or the Action Research Project? How much time does it require for you to be in the program itself overall? So we're looking forward to getting applications. We really want to get people from across the country. So again, if you go to the Professionals Hub, look at APLD tab, how to apply is there. The link for the application is also there. And then there are 2 live links to register for both webinars. You only have to attend one, February 9th and March 9th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Melinda.
Of course. Okay, because we want to stay timely, I'm going to ask the team to go to next slide. We do want to stay in touch with you all. Here's some information for you to note. Our foster care and adoption specialists are absolutely here for you. That's Nicole. Nicole, you had the most questions here. I think everyone is really interested in like the future of photo listings and how they can interact with Adopt US Kids and make sure that they are doing the best work for kids and families. And so there's some information there for you all about that. There's the APLD email address. We do have I didn't mention this earlier, but foster care and adoption specialists. We answer questions in both English and Spanish. The numbers are there as well as the email addresses. Just a spoiler alert, we will have text messaging responses soon, so stay tuned for more information on that in the future. Photo listing, photo submissions, that had been one of the questions, and there's the response and the email for where to send those photo submissions, as well as if you run into any trouble navigating the website or if you have a login and you get locked out, there's technical assistance that's there to serve you for that as well. Next slide. We are, like I said earlier, I invited you to sign up for the professional newsletter, and you can do that by adoptuskids.org/newsletter. I don't know what that little thing's called, dash sign up. So there's the link you can use for that. We are also on LinkedIn at Adopt US Kids and at the National Center for Diligent Recruitment. Again, we appreciate, next slide. We appreciate you being here today. We always like to start on time and stop on time. It's a part of how we show respect for the busyness in your life. And again, thank you for being here with us and sharing this time. We will be in touch with all the participants here with the question and answers, and then this webinar will be available for review. So thank you again. Have a great day.